The timeless words of Aristotle, "He who walks alone is either a beast or a god," have echoed through centuries, shaping the way humanity perceives solitude. To Aristotle, isolation was not a neutral state, but one charged with extremes. The domain of the savage who rejects all human fellowship, or the realm of the divine who transcends it entirely. This ancient dichotomy casts a long, imposing shadow over human thought, suggesting that those who choose to walk apart from the crowd must either fall beneath human nature or rise impossibly above it. Yet, in the modern age, such a stark classification feels increasingly inadequate. The world we inhabit today, defined by hyperconnectivity, relentless social interaction, and a near-constant pressure to engage, complicates the meaning of solitude. Those who remain outside the social tide are not necessarily beasts nor gods, but rather figures who embody an entirely different mode of existence. Among these stands the archetype that contemporary culture has come to call the Sigma male. Unlike the familiar archetypes of the social hierarchy, the commanding alpha, the obedient beta, the Sigma male resists categorization. He is not defined by his place within the ladder of dominance, but rather by his conscious refusal to climb it at all. His essence is not rooted in competition for status, recognition, or authority, but in the quiet power of his independence. To the casual observer, he may appear elusive, detached, or even cold, often mistaken for someone antisocial or indifferent. Yet these labels fail to grasp the reality of his inner life. The true misjudgment lies in society's failure to ask a profound and simple question: what does the world actually look like through his eyes? The answer is far more intricate, unsettling, and storm-ridden than the shallow perception of aloofness. The Sigma male does not simply hover at the margins of society. He moves through its complex structures like a shadow, present yet unseen, influential yet seldom understood. His solitude is not a barren emptiness, but a crucible where consciousness sharpens and intensifies, forging perspectives that differ radically from a mainstream. Scientific research has long acknowledged the benefits of solitude, linking it to heightened creativity, sharper problem-solving skills, and capacity for deep, independent thought. But these studies often skim the surface. They highlight the productive light of isolation, while neglecting the darker storms that brew in its depths. For the Sigma male, solitude can be both a gift and a burden. It fosters a mind that burns with originality, yet also gives rise to peculiar distortions of perception, psychological currents so powerful they warp not only how he sees the world, but also how the world responds to him. These are not mere eccentricities or harmless quirks. They are forces that shape his very existence, leaving behind an aura of discomfort, mystery, or tension even in moments when he is at his calmest. To encounter a Sigma male is often feel this unspoken weight, a strange sense of presence that lingers long after he is gone. This exploration, then, is more than an examination of solitude. It is an unflinching journey into the unfiltered, often brutal honesty of the Sigma male psyche. It is a descent into the strange clarity and equally strange distortions that define his way of being. To see through his eyes is to confront questions that unsettle the foundations of how we understand individuality, society, and the very fabric of human existence itself. 1. The emotional oscillator between intensity and emptiness. One of the most disorienting aspects of the Sigma male psyche is his involuntary emotional shifts. Unlike ordinary mood swings or clinical conditions, these changes are subtle yet profound. At one moment, he is deeply absorbed in life, fully immersed in conversations that matter, consumed by creative visions, or overwhelmed by the raw beauty and pain of existence. His sensitivity allows him to feel reality with piercing clarity. But without warning, this intensity collapses into a state of detachment, almost like an emotional circuit breaker shutting down. What was once vivid and alive becomes numb and quiet. To outsiders, this can appear as indifference or coldness, yet it is not a rejection. It is self-preservation. He feels so deeply that his mind enforces silence to prevent emotional burnout. This oscillation often leaves him questioning whether he is broken, but in truth, it is his hidden strength. By detaching, he maintains resilience and gains the rare ability to walk away from toxic people, environments, and systems without guilt. 2. The unspoken arbiter, a silent test for others. The Sigma male's presence alone can unsettle people. He does not need to dominate or demand attention. His quiet refusal to play social games creates a subtle tension. He does not flatter, seek validation, or compete for status, and this absence of performance unsettles others. In a society fueled by approval-seeking, his indifference becomes a mirror, exposing the insecurities and pretenses of those around him. Without meaning to, he becomes a silent examiner. People feel judged, not by his words, but by their own projections. His authenticity inadvertently highlights their performative masks, making them feel small in comparison. Though he does not intend to diminish anyone, his grounded self-containment challenges others to confront their own lack of self-assurance. 3. The confessional, a magnet for secrets. Another strange dynamic is his role as an involuntary confidant. Strangers, acquaintances, and even rivals feel compelled to share their darkest secrets with him. Traumas, regrets, and hidden fears. This is not due to charm or deliberate empathy, but to his non-reactive silence. Unlike most people who listen only to respond, he absorbs without judgment, creating rare psychological safety. Others feel seen without being analyzed, and in turn, they unburden themselves. But while they leave lighter, he is left carrying the weight of their confessions. He becomes a vessel for pain he never asked to hold, and the irony is that few ever ask about his inner struggles. Because he listens so strongly, people assume he has no burdens of his own, reinforcing his quiet loneliness as the eternal listener who is rarely heard. 4. The gravitational anomaly, drawing the damaged and the curious. The Sigma male naturally exerts a magnetic pull, though he neither seeks nor fully understands it. His aura of calm independence attracts two groups most, the wounded and the seekers. The wounded mistake his silence for hidden pain, imagining themselves as healers who can fix him. They dig into his stillness, hoping to uncover brokenness, but are frustrated when they discover that he does not need mending. The seekers, meanwhile, view his self-containment as wisdom and stability. They look to him for guidance, projecting onto him the role of mentor or savior. Yet both groups misinterpret him. His silence is not an invitation, but a boundary. His peace is not a void, but a shield. Over time, the constant pull of those searching for healing or answers drains him. Ultimately, he withdraws not because of cruelty, but because maintaining his independence requires escape from the expectations of others. 5. The internal tormentor, trapped by his own standards. The Sigma male struggles are not rooted in past wounds, but in the future he demands of himself. His torment comes from an uncompromising internal code, one that requires absolute authenticity and excellence. Unlike perfectionists who seek external validation, his drive is internal and merciless. If a project, relationship, or achievement does not align with his exacting standards, he discards it, even if the world applauds it. This leaves him restless, unable to savor victories because his inner voice always questions if he could have done better. His brilliance stems from this drive, but also robs him of peace. He is not haunted by failures of the past, but by the fear of becoming a weaker, complacent version of himself in the future. 6. The perceived threat, fear without action. The Sigma male is often seen as dangerous, not because of aggression or violence, but because of his refusal to conform. His independence unsettles people in a world built on validation and compliance. His unreadable calm, steady eye contact, and silence create discomfort as others cannot predict or control him. This unpredictability makes people project their insecurities onto him, labeling him a threat. His true danger is ideological, the quiet statement that he needs no approval and can walk away at any moment. This unnerves people who depend on validation, sometimes drawing fascination at first, but eventually turning into resentment when they realize he cannot be manipulated. 7. The quiet escape. Success is relief, not glory. For the Sigma male, success is not about recognition or celebration, but about liberation. Each achievement feels like an escape from restriction, a system, a job, or a life that compromises his autonomy. Instead of joy, he feels deep relief, like slipping free from chains. Others may see this as ingratitude, but his victories were never meant for applause. They are proof that he can live on his own terms. Yet success rarely satisfies him for long. Once free from one trap, he already anticipates the next, always planning his next evolution. To him, achievement is not an endpoint, but a continuous process of breaking free. 8. the echo of absence, the haunting power of leaving. When the Sigma male leaves, he does so quietly without drama or explanations. His exits are clean and final, and this absence often becomes more haunting than his presence. Those left behind search for answers, replaying memories and wondering what went wrong. The lack of conflict or closure makes his departure unsettling, as people are used to endings marked by drama. For him, leaving is not punishment but conservation, removing himself from connections that no longer align. Yet, this silence lingers, becoming an obsession for others who feel erased and insignificant. Ironically, his absence holds more weight than his presence ever did, turning him into an unshakable ghost in their minds. 9. The unmasked ear, hearing the truth behind the masks. In social settings, the Sigma male operates on two levels. Outwardly, he can engage in conversation and small talk, but inwardly, he detects the emotions people try to hide. He hears the desperation behind laughter, the loneliness behind smiles, and the fear behind forced jokes. To him, social gatherings feel like stage performances where people mask their pain with noise. This heightened awareness is draining, as he cannot ignore the dishonesty of emotions or the silent suffering around him. For this reason, he often withdraws, not from dislike of people, but because of the overwhelming burden of perceiving truths others deny. 10. The reality skeptic, questioning the illusion of normality. The Sigma male constantly doubts the normal reality society accepts without question. Where others see success in fame, wealth, or status, he sees a hollow performance of conformity. To him, this shared belief system is little more than a fragile hallucination propped up by collective denial. Once he notices its cracks, he cannot unsee them, and the disillusionment both isolates and clarifies him. While others chase illusions, he sees patterns, motives, and truths hidden in plain sight. His fear is not of losing sanity, but being one of the few awake in a world that rewards sleepwalking, making truth-telling feel like rebellion. 11. The truth teller, the cause of honesty. When the Sigma male speaks, it is with sharp precision, cutting through lies and illusions. He does not soften his words to protect egos or win favor. He values truth over comfort. This clarity, however, often earns him hostility. People resent him for exposing the fears and insecurities hidden beneath their masks. They label him arrogant or cold, not because he intends harm, but because once illusions are shattered, they cannot be restored. His words linger in their minds long after he is gone, making him both feared and resented for saying what others avoid. 12. The double-edged sword, admiration mixed with envy. Socially, the Sigma male is often respected yet secretly resented. Many admire his focus, discipline, and independence, but beneath the surface lies envy. What unsettles people is not what he has, but what he does not need: validation, approval, or permission from others. His self-sufficiency silently exposes their dependence on external affirmation. They project their insecurities onto him, misreading his calm detachment as arrogance or silent judgment. While they may praise him publicly, privately they wish for his downfall, not out of malice, but because his existence reminds them of the freedom they crave but cannot claim. Conclusion: the Sigma male is not merely a misunderstood figure. He is a walking paradox, a human mirror that reflects back the hidden layers of those around him. Like a living Rorschach test, his presence draws out the insecurities, fears, and unspoken desires that others try to conceal. People misinterpret his silence as coldness, when in truth it is focus. They call him distant when he is simply at peace, and they label him arrogant when he chooses freedom over conformity. Every strange reaction he evokes, the attraction of the wounded, the unease sparked by his stillness, the suspicion bred by his independence, can all be traced back to one root cause: his refusal to submit to rules he never agreed to play by. This refusal is not rebellion for rebellion's sake. He is not driven by a hunger for attention, nor by bitterness against society. Instead, his life is guided by an uncompromising inner code, one that values authenticity over pretense, clarity over confusion, depth over shallow distractions, and above all, freedom above everything else. Yet, this kind of freedom is not without cost. To live authentically, he must pay in silence, in solitude, and in the heavy weight of being unrelatable in a world where imitation is rewarded and individuality is punished. He is the mirror people avoid looking into, for his reflection exposes not who they truly are, but who they pretend not to be. His presence unsettles a fragile scaffolding of false confidence, silently testing the authenticity of others without a word, and more often than not, people fail without ever realizing they were being tested. The Sigma male does not sit in judgment of those still playing the social game. He does not scorn them, nor does he attempt to dismantle their carefully constructed illusions. Instead, he remains an observer, distant, composed, and unmoved by the shifting currents of status and validation. Guided by his own compass, he evolves in silence, far from the spotlight, unshaken by the noise of public opinion. And it is precisely this independence, this unshakable self-possession, that makes him the most unsettling figure of all. In a world addicted to validation, performance, and hierarchy, a man who cannot be bought, swayed, or owned embodies the most dangerous threat imaginable. The proof that an alternative way of living exists, one rooted in unyielding freedom. Do these ideas resonate with you? If you found yourself nodding along or reflecting deeply on the traits and experiences we explored in this video, I'd love to hear your thoughts. The Sigma male mindset isn't often talked about openly, and your perspective, whether you identify with it personally or have encountered it in others, adds valuable depth to the conversation. Drop a comment below and let me know which part hit home the most for you. Have you seen these traits in yourself or someone you know? Your insights help build a community where authenticity and growth are prioritized over popularity and performance. If you're drawn to this kind of introspective, no-nonsense content around Sigma males, psychological strength, emotional intelligence, and high-value living, there's more waiting for you. Explore the other videos on this channel for deeper dives, actionable insights, and raw truths that cut through the noise. Thanks for watching, and as always, stay sharp, stay grounded, and stay unapologetically real. Until next time.